Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on 13 Plus. I'm Ashley Powerman. I hope you are all having a lovely Thursday and trying to stay as cool as possible out there. We're going to go ahead and jump right into our stories for the evening. So people can find it difficult to escape abusive relationships, and experts say it's even more difficult when there is a pet involved. Reporter Kristen Crowley looks at a growing effort to keep families and pets together in these situations, and of course to keep them all safe.
Every minute, nearly 20 people in the United States are physically abused by an intimate partner. That's more than 10 million people a year.
Escaping a domestic violence situation can mean the difference between life and death, but many people find it a struggle to leave if they have a pet. Nearly half of people stay in abusive situations rather than leave their pet behind. But the National Sheriff's Association says 71% of pet owners entering domestic violence shelters report their abuser had threatened, injured, or even killed family pets.
Reporter Kristen Crowley looks at a growing effort to keep families and pets together and safe.
I never really noticed any red flags or anything.
Alicia Hyde's relationship with her husband started out as a love story.
When I first met him, we were in college.
They got married, had a baby, adopted 3 dogs. Alicia thought life was picture perfect. But her love story fell apart when she says her husband started drinking and using drugs.
It led into physical abuse. It was definitely verbal abuse, psychological abuse, control, separating me from friends and family, and just isolating.
Alicia got the brunt of the abuse, but she didn't get all of it.
I can remember him beating the dogs, throwing them out onto the porch.
For the safety of her son and herself, Alicia knew she had to escape, but leaving her husband meant also leaving her pets. She couldn't bring them with her. It's a harsh reality many pet owners in domestic violence relationships face, and it's one that could cost them their life. Research shows up to 48% of people in an abusive relationship delay leaving because they can't bring their pets.
That really just kind of stopped us in our tracks. It was something that we didn't know of. We didn't know it was a crisis.
Friends and business partners Andy Bond and Matt Krentz never worked in social services or had any formal education about domestic violence issues. They were just 2 pet lovers with a technology background who wanted to help.
Pets that are being owner surrendered, they belong to people who want to keep them. And so there's a human on the other end of that leash.
A human that's often giving up their best friend. So Andy and Matt created Bestie B&B.
How does the program work?
Our advocates have described it as a confidential Airbnb for pets.
But instead of putting up a room for rent, volunteers offer to foster pets for free when someone in need reaches out to a shelter for help. Bestie B&B officially launched in July of 2022 in Kansas City. By the end of that year, its reach spread to 18 states. Since then, it's grown to 30. It's provided more than 4,000 safe nights for animals, and
All of those pets have been returned to their owners.
the realization of this need has led to other crisis pet housing programs. Purina launched the Purple Leash Project in 2019, and Hillary Pierce with Hill's Pet Nutrition launched one with the YWCA in Kansas in 2021.
It's just truly a lifesaver for them to know that they can get out of their situation.
Pierce says demand for these types of programs is growing, and with that comes a special need.
Foster homes are a big challenge, but funding is also a big challenge, and having volunteers and people.
We don't want anyone to have to make that decision.
Bestie B&B's goal is to eventually be in every state, providing help in every community. But it too needs people to step up in order to make that happen.
Hundreds of people and pets have been helped that otherwise wouldn't have been. And within 1 year, a year from today, we're going to be talking about thousands.
Alicia wishes she could have been among those numbers.
What happened with your 3 dogs?
I had a friend that took one of them and the others went to a shelter.
Alicia's husband was eventually charged with multiple domestic violence-related crimes, including aggravated assault. He died before his case was over. While boarding Alicia's animals wasn't an option for her at the time, she's grateful it is now for others, because she knows so many people out there could use it.
You can sign up to volunteer as a foster pet home with Bestie B&B by going to their website, bestiebnb.com. Even if Bestie B&B is not in your state, it says it will work with agencies in your area to try and connect people with resources available.
Some domestic violence shelters do allow pets. The National Sheriff's Association recommends preparing pets for a quick departure by collecting vaccination records, the pet's license, medical records, and other documents, and ask for help from animal care and control officers if a pet needs to be retrieved from an abuser. Never reclaim animals alone.
If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233.
It's not just credit.
Well, maybe you've sought out a loan for a car or house and got denied. Well, you're not alone. A new report from Bankrate finds half of loan applicants were denied since the Federal Reserve's first rate hike in March of 2022. And this Watching Your Wallet consumer investigator Rachel DePompa gets some advice on how to turn that denial into a yes.
It's not just credit cards. More and more Americans are getting denied for car loans and car leases. It started when the Federal Reserve began raising rates in March of 2022. The purpose was to slow inflation, but that basically also means lending restrictions are tightened.
We saw that half of applicants have been denied for a loan or financial product that they've applied for since the Fed began raising interest rates in March 2022. And then we also saw that about 1 in 5 Americans also say here that their access to credit has gotten more difficult since the Fed began raising interest rates.
Sarah Foster is with Bankrate. She says those denials are for all sorts of financial products, though credit card application denials top the list. But the increase in denials also involved mortgage applications, and here's why. A $500,000 home would be about 62% more expensive a month than it was when mortgage rates were at their record low in 2021. Foster says when financing costs rise that quickly, it ultimately requires borrowers have more income or documentation and a better credit history.
I think this really underscores the importance of Americans taking steps right now to bolster their credit scores so they can not only get approved for the loan that they're applying for, but also get the best interest rate possible that the lender is offering.
Foster says sometimes the better the credit score you have, that could make a difference between 1 or 2 percentage points worth of an interest rate. If you've been rejected, lenders do have to let you know why. Most of the time, they give you that report within 10 business days of your rejection. Now, Foster says take a look at that report and see why you were denied. It could be something as simple as a mistake on your application. If it has something to do with your credit score, you can work to change it. But remember, bolstering your credit score, it's often easier said than done, and it's not a quick process. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Alrighty, well, that's going to do it for tonight's 13 Plus Fastcast. I'm Ashley Bowerman. We're going to leave you here with this beautiful view outside this evening. Hope you guys are all trying to stay as cool as possible, of course, up here in the mountains. I'm sure they're feeling those cooler temperatures that we wish we were feeling down here in the valley. But as always, we appreciate you for joining us, and we will see you tonight on 13 News live at 9 and 10. We'll see you then. Have a great night.